This is a new updated tier list for April 2021. A lot has changed in the meta, so let's get down to the top tiers, the champions you want to pick for ranks so you can have the best chance of winning. I'm going to put Atlas. He's pretty much one of the best tanks in the game. He has a barrier that can't be destroyed, protects your whole entire team. The opposite team cannot do anything about it until it goes away. Even though Temporal Divide takes a while, you can get Kronos to lower the cooldown, and he has an ability where he shoots people with Rewind to lower the cooldown. Also, by some people can put it to reduce by 2 or 4 seconds on that ability. But yeah, he's pretty much one of the best tanks in the game, besides Khan. Khan is one of those tanks where you don't stand on the point. You kind of just get Bulletstorm and Cauterize, and you kind of just play as him as a damage champion, kind of helping other damage champions on your team. You don't want to stand on the point with Khan, really. You just want to get Storm Bullets, Cauterize, and just wreak all kinds of havoc, and his ult can one-shot people, except for maybe Atlas, who can recall and come back. Then after that, you have all the other champions, but right now, I'd say the two best are Atlas and Khan. After that, it's probably Barrack. They took away his extra 600 HP, but he's still pretty good. I mean, if you can't pick Atlas to stand on the point or do whatever, or Fernando, just pick Barrack. And then we have all the damage champions like Leon, Tiberius, and Cassie, who are all top tier right now. Cassie, most people are going impulse builds, Cauterize, of course, Tiberius. You can pretty much do whatever you want with Tiberius because he's Tiberius. Leon, Tiberius, Cassie, since they're all damaged, you want to get Cauterize level 3 with all of them. Maybe Haven, Kill to Heal. But Leon, she doesn't really have any bad builds per se, neither does Tiberius. Cassie, I'd say, is a little bit better than Tiberius. Tiberius's ultimate is pretty terrible, because if you ult with Tiberius, you have to make sure that nothing stuns you while you're ulting, because you're jumping around or dashing, you get stunned, you pretty much die with his ult. He has probably one of the worst ults, but it doesn't really matter since his damage is insane. Cassie reveals everyone on the map. A lot of people are going Impulse with Cassie. Leon, like I said, it doesn't matter what you do with Leon. She has a little harder time against tanks like Barrack, Khan, and Atlas. So does Cassie, just because they're shields and stuff. But you can do really good damage. Tiberius has a little easier time versus tanks. I just wish his ultimate wasn't complete garbo. And Drugos can shoot anywhere, has good range, has good damage, can fly anywhere, go anywhere, get to the high ground, escape from battles at any given time. Pretty much one of the best flankers in the game. Fernando's really good, top tier. It's pretty much stand on the point and hold your shield and protect your team. Furia's really good. Probably one of the best healers in the game. Next to Grover, Grover and Furia, probably the best healers in the game right now. Grover, I usually just go deep roots because you stun people with Grover and then chain links, and you stun people and they just all die. Furia, I just heal. But yeah, Furia is really good right now. Other than that, we have, where is he? Dumba. Pretty much one of the other best healers in the game. And then after that would probably be, let's see who else is top tier right now. Really none of these characters besides Rom. I'll put Rom over here also. Rom is just really good. You don't want to stand on the point with Rom. You kind of want to play him. Same as Khan, just damage. You play him as damage. You want to play him with Atlas, or you want to play him with Barrack, or you want to play him with Fernando. You don't want to play him like by himself. Like if you don't like playing tanks, give Khan or Rom a chance and just play them as damage champions. Just get cauterized and shoot at the back line and shoot at people, and you don't have to stand on the point. A lot of argument is people don't like standing on the point as tanks, so I'm just like, well, just pick Khan or Rom and you don't have to stand on the point. We got Terminus. I put him up here also. Terminus is another one of those tanks. It's just like, he's broken on console, but PC, he's okay. You just chase people down and smash them. Another one of those tanks you can play with Barrack, Atlas, or Fernando. Believe it or not, Pip is actually top tier right now on PC. I see a lot more combat medic being used. You just shoot your teammates and you burst heal them. Like, you don't even have to use the potion to heal people. You just shoot people and you heal them, which is really nice. So you don't have to wait on your potion. So combat medic is really good right now. Let's see who else is top. Zen is also really OP. The only problem with Zen is like he has to get close, and Andrew's a little better. Zen can't, let's say there's maps with high ground, he can't get to the high ground like Andrew can. Andrew can just dash and fly up to the high ground. Zen cannot get to the high ground. Andrew has range. Zen doesn't have range, but when Zen gets close, he destroys people. That's the upside of using Zen, is like you have to get close to do damage. Andrew can just do damage anywhere, fly anywhere. That's the main difference between them. Ruckus is top tier. You don't want to play him if there's no tank on your team. You want to play him, like I said again, with Atlas, Barrack, or Fernando. He's kind of like, you play him as a damage champion. You kind of jump around and shoot people. You don't stand on the point with Ruckus. You don't stand on the point with Rom or Khan. Like, you don't like playing tanks because you don't like standing on point. Well, try playing Ruckus also. Who else is top? Really none of these champions. Vora, I'd say, is maybe near the bottom. And Willow, surprisingly. The reason why I say Willow is she completely destroys tanks right now. Like Dead Zone and her Seedling, like, just destroys tanks. She can also cause problems with some of the projectile characters like Cassie and Tiberius. She can float above them and kind of like move back and forth and make it harder for them to shoot her, but you don't want to pick Willow versus Leon or Andro. She's also pretty good against Zen. Like, you float above Zen and you just keep your distance from Zen. She can shut down Barrack. She can shut down a lot of tanks, except for maybe Atlas. That's the only tank she can't really shut down. Or Terminus, because he'll just absorb your Seedling. But like Barrack, Khan, Fernando, Rom, she can just shut them all down with Dead Zone and Seedling. Like, Barrack heals with his turrets. With Dead Zone, you just shut his healing down. You shut Khan's healing down. Fernando was forced to get out of Dead Zone, get out of Seedling. Like, he can't do anything about it. Most tanks can't, besides Term and Atlas. So yeah, she's pretty much the tank melter. After that, is there anyone else top tier I'm going to put in here? I'm not going to rank Octavia because she's not in ranked yet. She's definitely not in ranked yet. I'd say Ashe. These are like the mid tiers right now. Like Inara, Ashe, and Makoa. They're good. They're not bad. The thing is, there's no reason to use them sometimes when you have Khan. Like, if you have Khan, you're going to pick Khan. If you have Atlas or Barrack or Terminus or even Fernando, you're going to pick these tanks instead of Inara, Ashe, or Makoa. But if, let's say, Atlas or Khan are banned, then yeah, you probably can pick Makoa as an off tank and just hook people. But yeah, and then you have like Bomb King and Eevee, who've been dropped down to mid tier. Bomb King suffers the problem of there's no reason to use him right now over Tiberius and Leon or Cassie. Like, Tiberius is just like way better than Bomb King right now. Tiberius just does insane damage, whereas Bomb King, his bombs are very slow and they're very inaccurate. He has very bad accuracy on his bombs, where Tiberius just uses his ability and just spams his blades everywhere. Like, he doesn't have to hit anything, they'll just bounce off walls and hit something. And like Tyra, whenever I see a tier list with Tyra as top tier, I'm like, And everyone's like, well, she has damage reduction. I'm like, well, that damage reduction doesn't really do anything when people just outrange her. Like, most of the time, the best way to deal with Tyra is she's going to throw her firebomb on the point. And when she does, she can't do anything to Khan. She can't do anything to these off tanks. She can't do anything to Khan because he's just going to charge her down. He can self-heal. The damage reduction doesn't really do anything because he'll charge and grab her and then shoot her. He'll heal. When he's about to die, he'll throw up his shield and he just kills Tyra. Terminus is the same thing. Like, you have to throw your firebomb on the point to get people off the point. But Terminus doesn't care. He's just going to chase you down and smash you. Tyra can't do anything to Terminus. Like, there's really nothing she can do because she has no mobility whatsoever. Her only mobility card she has is when she like targets someone and can see them, and it gives her like movement speed. That's her only mobility. She can't fly. She can't billow. She can't dash. Like, she can't jump up places like Pip can. Like, she doesn't really have any mobility whatsoever. So a lot of these off tanks are going to cause her problems. She can't do anything to Atlas either because he's going to put his barrier up and she can't do anything about it. But she can melt some tanks like Barrack, Fernando, and some of the other tanks. But when it comes to like some tanks like Khan and Rom and Terminus chasing her down after she throws a firebomb, she can't get away from them. Like, she just has to shoot and hope she gets heals and hope someone backs her up. Another problem with Tyra also is these 3 damage champions right here, Leon, Cass, Tiberius, all outrange her. They have better range and they have better damage. So as long as you keep your distance from Tyra, like keep a safe distance from her, the damage reduction isn't going to do anything, especially with Andro also. Andro can just keep his distance from Tyra. Like, she starts shooting grenades, you're just going to reversal and fly away and just wait a few seconds, come back till the damage reduction is done and just kill her. Zin can just deflect and then billow away. And if she tries chasing him down, once the billow wears out, you have to be careful because he might attack and whirl you, then deflect and just destroy you. He also gets his ultimate very fast and just kills Tyra, like it one-shots her. I mean, people act like Tyra is really good. The problem is her firebomb is always going to be on the point. So that pretty much tells you the only other option she has is damage reduction. But it doesn't really do much when characters like outrange her and the off tanks have twice as much health as her chasing her down. And then you have like some of the other mid tiers like Io. Her healing's not very great. Her pet cannot take the point anymore. Anami suffers the same problem. She's just not as good as Leon, Cass, or Tiberius, the 3 best damage champions right now. She also can't really melt tanks like Willow can. Like, Willow can just melt tanks. Anami has some mobility, but it's like there's sometimes where you just don't want to pick Anami versus certain flankers or certain damage champions like Leon and Cass, Tiberius. They all have like a lot more damage than her, and she can't really chase them down per se like Androxus can. Like, sure, you don't want to chase these champions down when they're full health. I mean, talking about when they have low health. And you have like Lex, he's okay. Koga, Maeve, Talus. Let's get all these mid-tier champions out of the way. And I'll explain why. Corvus is, I'd say, is probably way up there. Torvald is really good, but you have to stay with a damage champion the whole game. Vivian, Victor, Ying. Alright. So, Corvus does decent healing, spreading influence. That's his pretty much only good ability with level 3 Chronos. You'll be healing people like every, what is it, 2.5 seconds or something like that? Yeah, they nerfed his healing, so he can't heal as much as Grover, Furia, Dumba, or Pip right now. Io's okay. The only time you want to use Genos is if you're using, like, let's say, someone picks Grok as a damage, so you can pick Gen. Someone picks Cirrus, you can pick Gen, but you don't want to pick Genos by himself. Lex and Maeve also have problems. They just don't... It's just hard to explain why they're not good. It's just because the other flankers are just better. Like, Zin just has better damage, and Zin can survive a lot better than Lex and Maeve, because he has Billow, and he has Deflect, whereas Lex can't do anything but slide. Maeve can't do anything but run away and try to heal. But there's really no reason to pick Maeve when you have Androxus. Same with these other flankers like Koga. There's no reason to use Koga because you can play Zin. Talus is kind of the same thing. Zin is just better than most of these flankers, and so is Androxus and Vora. Like, these flankers are okay. Kinessa is alright. You have to be very good to use Kinessa. It just takes a lot. Grok, he can work as long as you have another healer on your team. Like if you have Pip or Dumba or Furia, then you can play Grok. You don't want to play him by himself as a solo healer because you're not going to heal any of your team, really, because Andro and Zin are going to be off doing their thing. You can't heal them. The rest of the damage champions have to hope they jump back to your circle to heal, so most of the time it's just really not worth it to use them as a healer, because people just don't want to go to your circles. It's best just to get Maelstrom and Cauterize, level 3 Cauterize, and Morale Boost. Dredge is okay, but there's really no reason to use him over Willow. Willow just completely destroys tanks, and Willow is just a lot better right now. There's only one good map Dredge is good on, which is Ice Mines. Drugos is alright. You can pick Drugos. Like, let's say they don't pick Leon, and they don't pick Andro, and they don't pick, like, a lot of hit scan characters, then you can pick Drugos. Drugos is pretty decent. I mean, he can one-shot Khan, he can one-shot Barrack, but that's about it. It's a lot more difficult to get through Atlas, because Atlas is barrier. Same with Terminus. It's hard to deal with Terminus. Like, you kill him, he's just going to come back to life. Atlas can rewind when you're about to kill him. Fernando can use his ult and become invincible. Your ult does nothing as Drogo. It's just very situational to use Drogo. Like, you have to, when you pick him, you have to know what the enemy team, like, if they don't have a counter to Drogo, then go ahead, pick Drogo. Buck, reload speed is terrible. It takes forever to reload. They nerfed his, what did they nerf? Like a few months ago. His bulk up. It used to be really good, but they nerfed it. So there's not much Buck can do right now. Mostly because of range. Like, he can't, like, if you look at these top tier characters, he can't really do much to them. Like, he can't do much to Atlas or any of these top characters right now. It's just too much for Buck to deal with. I don't know. Like, Buck probably needs a buff right now. Xiaolin would be better, but I heard the servers are having iframe drops, so more or less people are going to play Xiaolin right now. They need to fix the frame drops. Like, Cirrus is okay. The only time you want to play Cirrus is to get walk speed and cauterize. Like, you don't play her as a healer. You play her as, like, a flanker, kind of. Sky, you just get Illuminate and you kill her. She has no mobility. There's very rare chances where you ever want to pick Sky in ranked on PC, because people are just going to get Illuminate. And there's so much in this tier list on the top tiers that just destroy her right now. Vivian is really bad. Like, her damage fall off is really bad. Like, she needs more damage because she just doesn't do as much damage as these other damage champions right now. And then we have the worst champion of the game, which are pretty much Moji and Strix. Strix is awful. Like, there's really no point playing Strix right now, or Moji. They're just fucking terrible. Yagoroth is terrible also. They nerfed her into the ground. Yeah, but that's pretty much it.